Yo, welcome. Today I would like to talk about my honest Japanese journey. Yes, you heard it right. I am learning Japanese. Yes, me, this handsome young lad. And I have been learning Japanese now for 3 years. And today I would like to share with you what my journey was really like and what I think my honest current level is. I'm sure I, like many others, have spent hours of scrolling and searching for the best way to study a foreign language. But most videos just feel like some kind of flex. Look at how good or smart I am. Or they feel a bit dishonest because people make themselves look better than they actually are to get more views. But at the end, the videos that helped me the most, though, were the ones that were just people talking about their honest journey as an average person, and more importantly, about their mistakes. Just average people with a full time job or that are full time students and are learning Japanese on the side. And I think it's cool that some people pass the JLPT N1 in 1 year, but that's not always super helpful for the average Joe like me. And to be honest, I'm probably not even an average Joe because I've been diagnosed with dyslexia. So most people will probably pick up languages slightly faster than I do. So I started learning Japanese on March 31st, 2022. I know the exact date because that's when my Duolingo streak started, as most people, I assume. And at the time, I was an undergrad and began learning hiragana and katakana on Duolingo in their hiragana and katakana sections. So after a few weeks, I got hiragana and katakana down and I started doing the regular Japanese Duolingo lessons, which were, fine at the time. But I already read online that if you want to learn a language to a fluent level, which was my goal at the time, you can't rely on Duolingo alone. But anyway, after a few months of daily Duolingo lessons, I found a YouTuber named Dave, also known as O Talk Who. He was talking about this book, Hajimete no Nihongo, and then the Tango series. I'm not sure if it's still popular, but it used to be a go-to vocabulary book for beginners, especially the ones who were in preparation for the JLPT, so the Japanese Language Proficiency Test. And Dave, he also introduced Enki to his viewers, and he told us that if you bought the book, the Hajimete no Nihongo, and you would show proof of buying it to a guy named Nuke Marine on Discord, who made a full Enki deck of all the vocabulary from the books, including audio of native speakers. And he would give you the deck file. And yeah, that's what I did. I got the book on June 22nd, 2022, and started learning through Enki. For those who don't know, Enki is a free flashcard app that uses spaced repetition. In a nutshell, it basically shows you the cards you find hard more often and the cards you find easy less often. What I specifically liked about the Nuke Marine's deck is that all the vocabulary was shown in context. All the words were in full sentences and with audio of native speakers.
熱心な
田中先生はとても熱心です。
So you weren't just learning list of words like in high school or college. You were actually learning how to use them and what they sound like. The Hajimete no Nihongo Tango books are split in 5 levels, corresponding to the 5 JLPT levels, from N5 all the way up to N1. When I started out, I obviously started with the N5 book and did the Enki flashcards every day. The deck had about 1,000 essential words, but because it included audio and written forms, the total was closer to about 2,000 flashcards. At the beginning, I was very motivated and did about 40 flashcards a day, finishing N5 in 2 months. This was mainly possible because of summer break from uni. And after finishing N5 in late August, I started N4, which has roughly 1500 words, some of which repeated from N5. Once uni started again, I could only do about 20 cards a day. So it took me 5 months to finish N4. I ordered the N3 book in February 2023 and continued with 20 Enki cards a day. But with uni, weekend work, and Japanese in my spare time, I eventually got overwhelmed and even had a panic attack in May 2023. And that's why I decided to take a break from Japanese altogether. During summer 2023, I slowly picked it up again and finished N3 around January 2024. From late January, I started sentence mining with Migaku. Yeah, Migaku is an extension that lets you add new words to Enki while watching or reading content online. I watched YouTube videos and Japanese reality TV on Netflix, and that was mainly Terrace House, which I highly recommend, even if you're not learning Japanese. Then in July 2024, I decided to take the JLPT N3. To be completely honest, I didn't expect to pass at all, mainly because I lacked confidence in the listening section, but I passed. Not with a great score, so my overall score was 107 out of 180. To be more specific, 33 out of 60 for FOGAP/grammar, 42 out of 60 for reading, and 32 out of 60 for listening. Yeah, and as I said before, it's not necessarily a very good score at all, but I was happy that I passed. And according to JLPT, a total score of 107 roughly corresponds to B1 level on the CEFR, or in other words, an intermediate level. During this time, I also practiced speaking occasionally through friends online, language exchange events, and my girlfriend. For my JLPT prep, I used a few different resources. I worked through the Shinkansen grammar and reading practice books, and also used the Nihongo no Mori all-in-one book. For listening, I practiced with N3 level questions on YouTube. I started all this about a month before the exam. What I didn't mention yet though is that before this, I already covered most of the N5 and N4 grammar using Lingodeer. And I reinforced it by reading example sentences from the Nuke Marine Anki deck. After passing the N3 though, I took a break from Anki in September 2024, watching just videos I enjoyed watching for around 15 minutes a day. I took a break from Anki because I was just done with the whole method. And after a while, I noticed my kanji and reading skills declining, so I started learning some kanji again. And at first I tried this with remembering the kanji, but I found it too boring. And then I just tried reading content in the wild, and I first tested LinkQ. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it good, but it's the app from Stephen Kaufman. But I didn't like it. The app was too messy in my opinion. I eventually found Todai Japanese, which lets you read news articles at different levels and click on words you don't know for dictionary translations. And this is where I'm at now, watching content I like, maybe 15 minutes a day, and then reading 1 or 2 N2 articles a day and speak Japanese with my girlfriend 3 days a week. So then the question, you guys must be wondering now, what is my current level? And I'm just not 100% sure. I know I'm not even close to fluent yet, but if I had to estimate, I think we first need to make a distinction between reading, listening, and speaking. I would say my reading is somewhere between N3 and N2, mainly because I passed the N3 last year, and for the past year I've been reading N2 level articles every day. But then my listening might be around N3 because I notice it's harder for me to understand Japanese videos if they don't have Japanese subtitles. Regarding speaking, since the JLPT doesn't test speaking, I don't have a proper objective measure for that. But realistically, speaking is always a bit worse than comprehension, so my honest guess is that my speaking is around N4. Maybe somewhere between N4 and N3 if I'm being generous, but I could be wrong. For my next videos, it might be better to show my level in practice. I was thinking, for example, I could share uncut videos where I talk with a Japanese person, play a game in Japanese, or read Japanese texts and show how much I actually understand. That way, people watching can make their own judgment. Okay, yeah, that was about it. So, for everyone who's watched this video, thanks so much. If you liked it and want to see more in the future, please consider subscribing and let me know if you have any suggestions for ways I could show my Japanese in practice.